Hey, what's up guys? This is Michael Aris and welcome to my photography channel. And if you guys have seen my last video, I did a point of view video with my 85mm lens, 1.8 lens, and with my Nikon Z6. And I said that at the end of the video I was going to do a sit down and walk you through my editing process for these photos. And so if you can see on my screen here, I think on that entire day I took 141 photos. And so these are the images that I took. And honestly, I don't really shoot a lot. Some people might take 300 photos, some people might take 1,000. Me personally, when I started my photography journey, I started shooting film. And when I shot film, I think my camera had about 36 rolls. And so I was really used to making sure that my shots counted and that I wasn't just wasting spraying and praying, right? Just keep clicking the shutter and just hoping that I would get the shot. I would make sure that when I was shooting film that all my shots were intentional. And when I went from film to digital on my Nikon D7000, I pretty much took that same mentality with me. And I don't really do a lot of spraying and praying for photographs. I know in the video you might have seen me do a couple of quick frames, like for instance the drummer, maybe with the preacher going crazy, you know, just shaking his fist and waving his hands. Sometimes you might need to do fast shots for that. But for the majority of the videos, I did a lot of 1 or 2 shots as opposed to like maybe 10. So with that being said, I don't really usually have a high volume of photos with my photography. So, you know, let's just take a little look as to what kind of photos that I took. So we can start off here. This is Jesse Woodrow. He's a phenomenal guy, great guy. And yeah, so I took, let me see, just probably about a mid-range shot of him. Him looking up, arms wide open like that. I think that was the shot that I liked the most, mainly because there wasn't really much kind of happening here at all. And then kind of when you go to this photo, you kind of get more of the background of the sound room up top, some more people on the bottom here. And I just think it's more visually better than the other one. This is May Butler. She's our music director. This is Josiah. He is one of our praise singers, and he is one of the best tenors here at IPC. And let's see here, I got that. This was one shot that I included in the video of him off to the side. I don't like to always photograph praise singers from the front. I do it sometimes, and I don't know, I kind of like to get the side angle shots as well, especially because you kind of get their accentuating jaw lines, right? And then when they extend their arms, it can make for great shots. Let's see. This one was a little I wouldn't say frustrating, but just if you notice in the video, I was trying to take a photograph of May, and she wouldn't lift her arm up for a long time. And every time that I wasn't photographing her, she would then raise her arms. But then whenever I would aim the camera at her, she would never raise her arms. And her eyes were closed most of the time, so maybe, I don't know what happened, but I was just waiting there. There was one shot where I was waiting about 40 seconds to about a minute and a half just on her, and her eyes were closed the entire time, and I was just waiting for her to lift up her hand so I can get a shot, and she just didn't do it. I guess she was feeling the spirit in a different kind of way at that time. So yeah, if you look at this photo, right, this hand was up right here at this moment right here, but then of course, you know, the mouth, right, wasn't how I would like it. Let's see, skip Ricky for that one. Let's see, this is our drummer Jeremy. Of course, I did a quick shot, I did a couple of quick rapid shots for that. So of course, you know, if you go in sequential order, right, he's doing the drum roll here. We got, let's see, but I liked it because it was just nice and tight. And especially with our stage and how it is, it's kind of wide, so it's tough to really get good photographs of drummers from the front. So normally, if you watch the video, you see that I walked on the platform and just walked right to the drummer and got really close to him. And some people might be embarrassed to just walk onto the platform or just feel nervous to do so. I've been photographing my church for about 4 or 5 years now, and by now the congregation just knows me. They know me, and they know that I photograph and document the church, so everyone's cool with it. And so I have no problem just walking up in the middle of service and just getting the shot that I want to get. And so of course you get shots like this with the drummer. Let's see here. We got Josiah from the side. I didn't use this one. I didn't think it was that strong. Let's see, this brother right here. I had one of him later, so that's why I skipped him. This one right here, I just liked that she was obviously a little kid raising her hands in church, and that's really cute. I decided to not show the mom because I wanted to highlight the kid more. Because I think it was, for me, I felt that if I would have taken a photograph, a vertical photo with the mom, I think it would have been cool to show, generations, right? Mother holding daughter, stuff like that. But for some reason, I kind of felt better to just kind of go in tighter because I felt that the mom holding the hand was enough to convey that message. Because when you zoom in tight on the girl lifting her hand, I just think it's just, number one, it's sharper and clearer, more up close. And I think that the mom just holding her hand just kind of says it all. You don't need both of them fully in the image, and this was a bad photo anyway, but I tried. Let's see here. This is one of our other praise singers, Sarah Rodriguez. She was not scheduled for praise team that day, but of course that doesn't stop her from serving the Lord with ferocity. And she's amazing. She's really awesome, really cool. And of course, you can see in this photo, I usually shoot auto white balance. Sometimes I shoot, incandescent, fluorescent, depending what the lighting is. But for the most part, I normally shoot with auto white balance, and you can tell with here that her skin tones are really orange here. And we'll fix that later. Let's see here. This one, okay, so I normally do wide shots from the top of the sound room. And I was kind of bummed out because we have about 9 praise team singers at one time, and it's just with this whole pandemic season, we've gone from 9 praise singers filling out the entire platform, and we actually have a choir too, but because we can't sing with the choir, obviously, we have about a 30-person choir, and so now that the choir was gone, we had to move all the musicians to fill out the platform, as you see in the back of the stage here. And then we had 9 singers, and then gradually dwindled down from 6 to 3. And I still do a wide shot of the platform, even though it's just 3 people on the platform now. But you just want to grab it just in case. You never know if someone from the graphic design team at our church wants to do something with it. But it kind of bums me out that the platform's not usually full with the praise singers that we normally have and the choir members. But someday we'll get back to there. But anyways, I'll just go through here. This image was just really dark, and also I thought that let me see if I can, it was fine. It's not that great of a photo, honestly, and when I raise up the exposure I can save it, but I didn't think it was that special a photo. Here we go, May lifting up her hands, but at the same time I wasn't getting the expression on her face that I really wanted. I wanted something more this angle. But I wish she would have got an arm and go like that, but she didn't, at least for the time that I was photographing her. But every time, once I left, then she would raise her hands. Whatever, May, I'll get you next time. Let's see here. This is Celine, one of my best friends, Celine Menchaca. I would have normally have kept a photo like this. Maybe I'll edit this and send it in for another time, but I didn't include in the video because I had another photograph of her that you'll see later that I chose instead. Here's a photo of Dane, our executive pastor, Dane, playing the bass. Once again, I walked behind the drummer in the middle of the church to photograph him. And, I didn't get a sharp enough photo of him, but it's fine. I mean, I've got other photos of Dane playing the bass. I didn't need to include this one in the POV video, but I tried. And that's the thing too, is that every service that you photograph, you don't have to get every musician, every singer, every time, because there's just multiple services. And a lot of times, especially in most churches, a lot of times the praise singers are always the same. For our church, we have about maybe 12, and so we circulate all the singers accordingly. So there's usually fresh faces every Sunday. So I usually try to get most of the praise singers, but in terms of musicians, I don't really stress out too much because they're mostly the same people every Sunday. So unless something's amazingly happened or I was able to find an opportunity for a really amazing composition, I don't normally stress out for musician photos, but that's just me. Once again, Mae Butler. I think I used this one just simply because it's side profile, right? We have the accentuating of her face right here. We have at least some arm movement here, but now we have 1, 2, and 3. At least we have some depth on the side of here. And so I think that's fine. You know, we can have a graphic design of words on the side here, and I think that works. This was from the back of the middle of our camera, and it's fine. Like I said, I wish we had more of our praise team singers here to kind of fill out the stage, but what can you do? Once again, it's one of those safe photos that you never know if a graphic design person wants to use it. This photo I used, just, you know, father holding daughter with the autofocus point on the daughter, just because people like seeing kids in church, their parents, and yada yada yada. This right here I have to skip because this is one of the ladies in our church that doesn't like photographs being taken over, and so I gotta skip. Low-key, I took some photographs because I was gonna try to see that if I grabbed a really good one to try to see if she would want to be included in the video, and obviously I didn't find one that I was really proud of, so I'm gonna skip it. So V, if you're watching this, yeah, I did you right and not include all the photos at all of this. But anyway, this brother right here, just once again, just a nice up close photo of someone praying. And this was another example right here of when I do high frame rates, multiple images going all at once, because he's just waving his arms, waving his hands. And I don't spend too much time. I don't spend 90 photos of him going like this. I usually take 4 or 5. And once again, he's the executive pastor. So if I don't get a fantastic photo of him now, I mean, I'll get it the next Sunday because he speaks all the time. So yeah, if you look at this, right, let's see, that's right, yeah, like that. And of course, when preachers are really into it, sometimes you don't get the most flattering photos. I mean, sorry, Dane, with the double chin right here. And Dane doesn't really have a double chin. It's just anybody, when you go like this, if you go any back at all, anyone can get that. But you know, when you see him in person, he has a nice chin. There's no fat underneath there at all. So, but let's see here. Another side photo of Dane, and I kind of used the a saint to kind of add some depth to the photograph, and also it kind of leads here too. The outline of the person's body leads down to here, their hand is here, but it kind of subtly frames Dane in the middle, and I kind of like stuff like that. Let's keep going a bit. You know, once again, you don't catch every photo. Oop, my screen kind of went blank for a second. This one I didn't choose just because he just looks really wide in this photo, and you know, even though he's really skinny right here, the jacket's really extended out, so you kind of want to make your ministers look flattering. So this is a photograph of a man praying at the altar, or not the altar, sorry, on his seat, and I like it because, you know, I just, you know, use the chairs to kind of lead in here, a little bit of depth, and there's other people in the background as well. Let's see, a photograph of some more ladies in our church. I didn't include it in the video because, you know, I just kind of felt it was more of the same. And so, like I said, just because you take photographs doesn't mean you need to include it in all of your photo collections, you know? So, let's see here. This was, I think the same girl from before, and her mom was holding her. And I didn't include in the video because, I mean, the girl's just holding our church envelope here. So, I mean, if the girl was lifting up her hands as well, or just maybe having her eyes closed on the mom's shoulder, maybe I would have kept it. But, you know, once again, not every photo has to be published and shown. And this is another photo of Dane when he was going off, so to speak. And of course, you see the quick relay of him, just high frame rates of catching those images. So this is my friend Celine again, and this is the image I was telling you about where I could have used the other photo of her with her arms wide open, but I decided to kind of use this one instead because she's sitting down, but her expression is different than all the other ones we've seen so far. She's got her hands on her chest and she's just really worshiping God and having a very nice intimate moment. And I used the pillar right here, I used the other one in front of it to kind of block everyone else's distractions that could be like I said, distracting from Celine from the side. So because there's all this dead space here from the pillar, all we have now is just one person next to her, which isn't as distracting, but we can just focus mostly on Celine right here, and I like that. And of course we have some more dead space on both sides actually, so if a graphic designer wants to do something, they have options. Let's see here. This is one of my other best friends. This is Kaylee, and I took a photograph of her off to the side because she has a little bit of a tear right here. I don't know if you can kind of see a little glistening right here. And I didn't decide to do a really big close-up on her face to get that kind of tear because I'm not really invasive like that, especially with my 85mm lens. I don't have the luxury of zooming in. I would have to walk with my feet up to her face to get that kind of shot. So I thought that from the side and with some depth of people over here leading down here, I think that works fine. Let's see. This is Angelica. She is the mother of that girl from earlier who was raising her hands. And same thing, the same expression of her hands on her chest like that. I think it's an image that is just different than people just raising their hands. So yeah, there's that. And here's another photo of the top on the balcony. And like I said, there's no praise team people here. So I wish we had it full again, like how we would normally have it, but you know what, it's fine. Just praying that the pandemic just ends soon so we can kind of, get back to normal. This right here is our senior pastor, Dan Butler. So there's our executive pastor, Dane Butler, and then his father, senior pastor, Dan Butler. And there's this photo of him raising his hands with a nice joyous look on his face. I didn't include this image because I'm such a stickler for composition that I accidentally cropped his feet down from the bottom right here, and I wish I didn't do that. I mean, I didn't notice. I was really shooting fast, and I messed up. I didn't get his feet. But I think it's fine because there's this guitar sticking out to the side here, and I think it might have distracted. It could have distracted from the image, but whatever. Let's see here. We got another image of him off to the side. And I didn't include this image before because, yeah, I have the person off to the side blocking him here. But I don't know, I kind of felt that his body was a little bit too wide, so I didn't include it. And the last couple shots of the video that we took were Pastor reading, he was praying after reading the word of the Lord, and he just clasped his hands together and leaned back, and I thought that was a nice classic Christian kind of photo of Pastor Butler doing that. And finally, for our last photo that you saw in the video, him giving the I love you sign language, because what we used to do was turn to your neighbor, shake hands with them, give them a hug, tell them you love them. But now with COVID-19, we can't do that. So instead, now at our church at least, we do the I love you symbol to each other since we can't, hug each other. And so yeah, so that's the first part of this video, which is just kind of walking through the photos that I did today. And the second half will be when I actually edit the ones that I consider keepers. All right, let's go to that second part.